Welcome everyone. Today I'll be discussing the step-by-step process we took in order to create our Photoshop project. Photoshop is the second and last non-industry specific computer software we use to create our landscape designs. Non-industry specific means that this program could be used by anyone in any industry for any purpose it may fulfill, and that the program was not developed and tailored to landscaping. The first thing we had to do was create 5 separate PDFs, one for each aspect of our design. So there was one PDF for the tree, the small shrubs, the medium shrubs, the large shrubs, and the one that included the other site amenities, such as the patio, water feature, and etc. Each PDF included the mulch barrier so that when we imported the PDFs into Photoshop, we could align all our PDFs correctly. This allowed for all aspects of our design to be correctly aligned with one another. Like our other projects, we had to create layers in order to organize our design. Each PDF was an original layer, and then by the end of our design, each of our groups were on their layers. Groups are what we clump certain aspects of our design into. So for example, the singular tree in our design had its own layer and group, and then we had our small shrubs on a separate layer that were broken down into 3 groups based on their location in our design. To clarify, we had small group 1 located in the upper left of our design, and so forth and so on for the others. This kept us organized, and grouping allowed for us to save load selections. Save selection is where we selected a group using the wand tool, which means we essentially highlighted the group that we wanted to be working with. Then we saved each individual group as a selection to later be loaded so that we could edit and improve on it. Once we loaded the saved selections, we could go in and color fill our selections. We color coordinated sets of objects in our design, for example, dark green for the tree, orange for the large shrubs, etc. This is where the repetition comes in because we had to individually load selection and navigate to the upper bar to select, edit, and fill all the different groups. After every group was filled, we had to use the dodge and burn tools. We used the burn tool first, which created a burned appearance on our objects. This gave the shapes the appearance that there was shading. Then we used the dodge tool on the sides of our objects where they were receiving sunlight. Finally, we had to turn on our color dynamics and use a special brush to create texture for our objects. Last but not least, we had to download our graphic symbols into Photoshop as brushes. Recall from our other projects that we represented our plant material using circles, like in AutoCAD, or special landscape symbols, like in Dynascape, to distinguish between shrubs, trees, and other plants. Here in Photoshop, we did not have those symbols, which was why we had to download them. We chose new symbols for each kind of plant material. So there was one symbol for the tree, one symbol for all the small shrubs, one for all the medium shrubs, and one for all the large shrubs. Photoshop allowed us to draw our design in a different way, and it required, personally speaking, a lot more patience. Photoshop isn't hard to navigate in any way, but it can get confusing because of the repetition of the process. If you can't remember the process of uploading a PDF, then you can't upload the other PDFs. I think Photoshop is a quality tool to know how to use because it can be used by anyone and not just landscapers. But overall, it may be a software program that landscapers can and should utilize.